If he gets farther in the playoffs this year, he's better than LeBron.
He's better than LeBron.
Yeah, well, I mean,
this season.
Look, regular season.
You just blew right through it. That's a big take. Yeah.
Well, I said it. I'm explaining why. I mean, regular season, he's better than LeBron now. He was better last year. He's about to be the two-time back-to-back. He's about to win back-to-back regular season MVPs. So that's not in dispute. He's the best player in the league during the regular season. When it matters most, LeBron, because he can get his own shot, because he's very experienced, etc., has proven to be better than Giannis in the playoffs. So Giannis was pretty good, pretty damn good until he came across Kawhi and those bigs. If Giannis gets to the finals this year, if Giannis chips up this year as the back-to-back regular season MVP, it's a wrap. It's his league. I mean, whoever is more marketable, bigger commercially, whatever, but the best player?
It's a wrap.
You could say, and real quick, you could say whatever you want about the Bucks being better constructed. They are. Giannis actually has more around him in terms of a well-balanced team, and it's built right. He doesn't have anyone like AD on his team. LeBron's got another MVP to play with. Apologies to Chris Middleton, who's a really good player. He ain't AD. So there are really no excuses.
You're wrong. He's not better than LeBron James. First of all, he's got to work on his perimeter shot, which I've continued to tell you. I'm not going to sit up there and rave about his free throw shooting because LeBron is not great at the free throw line. But the ability to make people around him better, he does not compare to LeBron. Now, you've given him credit about being able to pass, and he's not a bad passer at all. He's a good passer, but you said he's a great passer. I don't agree with that. Okay, that's number one. Number two, again, we've seen what can happen to him when you wall off his ability to get into the lane and you force him to turn into somewhat of a perimeter player. He's incredibly, incredibly lacking. I'm not saying that Giannis isn't great because there's so many great elements that he brings to the equation, and he deserves credit. But we also have to make up our mind about something here. We recognize the fact that we're talking about a team, not just individuals, and having the right pieces around you, people who know their job description, does matter. As I've reminded you on many, many occasions, I spent the first 10 years of my career in covering the NBA, covering Allen Iverson every day. And I watched the Philadelphia 76ers look at what he brought and what he flagrantly did not bring, and the pieces around them. The only thing that could stop them was Shaq and Kobe. Vince Carter couldn't stop them. Big dog Glenn Robinson with Ray Allen and Sam Cassell couldn't stop them. You know, Orlando with Chuck Daly and the crew and those boys couldn't stop them. God rest his soul, couldn't stop them. It took Shaq and Kobe because the pieces around you matter. And what I'm saying,
they got to win against Shaq and Kobe. They were the only ones.
Yeah, yes, we know, Max. I was there. The bottom line is, in the end, what it comes down to is this. When you look at LeBron and what he brings to the table as a total package, Giannis ain't close to that yet. There's no argument here. Giannis is great. He's deserving of being the league MVP right now. There's no doubt about that. But when you compare his all-around skill set to LeBron James, no.
I actually agree with you when you say the one thing with Giannis is how he finishes this season. If it wasn't for Kawhi and the Toronto Raptors, it wasn't just Kawhi, it was the Toronto Raptors. If they wouldn't have stopped him and Giannis would have gone on to win the MVP, there would be no conversation, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that his skill set and this, I just mean he's the best player. He would be the regular season MVP. He most likely would have had a finals MVP. He was up 2-0. And so for me, we've sat here with James Harden and watched him amazing numbers, MVP numbers, year after year after year. The one criticism is how he plays in the postseason, right? And one thing that we know about LeBron is that the postseason is typically where he shines. Now, yes, the NBA Finals, his record isn't that great, but he still went to 8 straight finals.
He's had some of the best finals ever.
Yeah, agreed. Like, when you look at triple-doubles and leading teams in every statistical category.
Took him a minute to get there, but he became a killer.
And I agree. But my one thing, and I can't give it to Giannis as the best player until I see. Because if we're going to hold it against James Harden, if we're going to hold it against Russell Westbrook and all the first-round losses that he has had, if we're going to hold it against those guys, then we have to do the exact same thing with Giannis, right? If we're going to hold Giannis to that standard, it's like, yo, the MVP is great. You can win a second MVP. That's great. What we want to see is what you do in the postseason. No doubt.
That's why I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you that we need to hold him here. But what you're saying is, like, right now, he is the best player. And I'm agreeing with you that he is probably the best player, but we still have to. Well, there's a big chunk that have to be considered.
That's why I'm saying if he gets farther than LeBron now. Let me tell you what I have a problem with your take. Subjectively, LeBron wins, right? Because that's everyone's opinion. We've seen him do it so many times. Yes, he can get his own shot. Yes, he's done it in the finals before. Yes, he makes the team around him better. Objectively, in terms of the stuff we can actually measure, if he does it in the postseason, that's why I'm saying. Who's better?
Giannis.
Oh.
Who's better so far regular season this year and last year too? Who's better offensively? It's Giannis. Who's better defensively? It's Giannis. And the idea that he doesn't make people around him better, in fact, his team is the winningest 2 years in a row.
I got this.
Okay, thank you.
First of all, number one, we've raved about the greatness of Mike Budenholzer as a coach.
Yes, we have.
Okay?
Multiple
we
teams.
see what their organization has surrounded Giannis with. We have to give credit where credit is due. So he's perfectly complimented by players, at least during the regular season. Why are we not talking about James Harden? I'll tell you why.
Please.
Because in the postseason, he's come up shorter than what we see. We don't sit up there and say, well, if James Harden does this in the postseason. What I'm saying to you is this. What we have, I get the ifs, and I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is, how dare y'all bring that up right now, Max? We just saw what happened in games 3, 4, 5, and 6, consecutive 4 games against the Toronto Raptors. I understand if, but the point is, what about was?
Okay.
What did happen in the last time we saw Giannis Antetokounmpo, who I love, he's great. But the last time we saw him in the postseason were those 4 games. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.